Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
Home, home, just wanna go, home, home, back home. I've been gone for way too long. Home.
Welcome to Make Space, a home design show that empowers you to create spaces you're obsessed with. Tune in for conversations that dive deeper than pin-worthy rooms. Host Cara Newhart teases out the essentials of designing spaces that inspire happiness and serve your everyday life. Cara has been featured in House Beautiful, Apartment Therapy, NBC News, and Insider, and has collaborated with brands like Home Depot, Wayfair, World Market, and more. Here's your host, Cara Newhart.
Welcome back. I'm super excited about today's episode, and you should be too, especially if you hear the word organization and you cringe. Getting organized can be super challenging and super intimidating, but it doesn't have to be hard. I'm sitting down today with Jessica Litman, who is known as the Organized Mama, and she's recognized by People.com as an organizing and DIY expert. She has been encouraging families not only to embrace their homes, but also teach them how to incorporate fun and easy home organizational habits that every family member can do. Her work has been featured in Better Homes and Gardens, Parents Magazine, and the Boston Globe, and she has an amazing book called Home Sweet Organized Home that is out on bookshelves and filled with some amazing tips and tricks. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode and talk to Jessica. Okay, everyone, welcome back to Make Space. Today, I have Jessica Litman. She is an organizational expert. She has a new book coming out, and we're going to dive into some organizing strategies and tips and a little bit about her process. So welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. I would love to start with your story. And because I think it's so fascinating how people find their way into entrepreneurship, specifically within the home space. But how did organization become a passion for you? Was it something you always loved, and were always good at, or something you found over time?
Yeah. So I have always been an organized person. I didn't realize this until middle school when my friends were talking about all the chores they had to do. And I was like, what's a chore? And they were like, make your bed and clean your room. And I was like, you just don't do that. I did not understand at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just always been an organized person by nature. And when I was in college, I actually looked up the National Association of Professional Organizers and was like, this would be my dream job. But my parents were like, that's not really a thing. So because at the time, it really wasn't. It was something that it was stereotyped as stay-at-home moms did for fun. That was, so then going to college for education, I started teaching elementary school kiddos, and at the same time was getting my master's in special education. And we were going into people's houses for home visits for some of our younger kiddos, and the parents just needed some organizational tips. So I was helping them kind of, organize all the paperwork that comes with special education.
Yeah.
And which just kind of led into when I became a stay-at-home mom, and we moved from a one-bedroom condo in the city of Chicago to a house in the suburbs. There was a lot of organization that needed to take place.
Yes.
So then that started the blog, which then started kind of everything that goes into the Organized Mama.
That is so special. My mom teaches kindergarten, so starting that way has a special role in my heart. But That is so cool because that hands-on, like just doing it before you know it's a thing
Mhm.
is such a cool way to get started because then it really is a passion and it just grows like so organically. So what a cool story.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for someone like me who is not organized, just a heads up, I am neurodivergent ADHD, unorganized, like hot mess. But organization can feel overwhelming. And
Mhm.
I feel like I grew up believing like either you're born organized or you're not. But do you think that being organized, like, do you think it's innate or do you think it's something that can be learned and cultivated? And maybe that process is just a little bit easier for some people.
I totally believe every single person has organization in them, but
Mm.
I think the trend right now with organizing is that it's a trend. And
Yeah.
so we picture, clear bins. We picture rainbow
Mm.
color coded. We picture everything in like perfectly straight lines. And if you actually look truly what organizing is, especially for people whose brains might be a little more creative, whose brains might be, process things a little bit differently, that you still have that organizing ability in you. It's just
Mhm.
not going to look like what you see on Pinterest.
I love that so much. I love that we're, like, picking this trend apart because there are people it works for, and it is, like, beautiful when it does, but there's so many of us that don't resonate with that, and it's, like, really hard to see and be like, "Oh, geez, is that what my house is supposed to look like? Like, how could I
Right.
even get there?" But hearing that it's more of the process than the beautiful rainbow clear bin after is
Exactly.
encouraging.
And it works. It does. There are people whose brains think in color. And if that is you, then do it. If the KonMari method works for you, do it. But if it doesn't, don't think that you aren't organized because that one type of organization didn't work for you.
Yeah, I like that. So it feels like we know organization goes deeper probably than just our physical space. Like there's, our personality or what
Mhm.
functions well or what we tend to do. Um, what are some, I don't know, like different styles of organization that you've learned over the years with clients? Are there like do you have categories? You're like, okay, this person does it like this, and so we use this method. Like, do you have like a strategy for how to create different organizational systems for different types of people or different approaches?
Yeah, I honestly think it's just all on how you use your space and how you really like set up things in your house. So for you, it no matter like where you are, look at everything that you have in your house and how you go about your day, and then put things in place like maybe you need a bin, maybe you need a tray, maybe you need a hook in order to keep the things that belong in that space there.
Mm. That's a really good approach because I feel like a lot of people start with how the room is supposed to look clean, like
Mhm.
if everything was tucked away and stashed away, instead of looking at like, what do I have out and why is it in this specific spot? And is that a good spot? If it is, let's put a bin there. That's like very interesting.
It's a very different approach. I've had some back when I was doing in-home clients, I had one mom who just could never figure out where to put her purse and her keys and all of that kind of stuff. And so honestly, I was like, well, where do you always put it? And she's like, I put it on top of the dryer, but then, clothes pile up there and all this stuff. So I'm like, well, what if we just put a basket there for your purse and your keys, and it's just always there, and it also acts as like a buffer so
Mhm.
extra stuff doesn't go there because you don't want it there. And it
Right.
worked. And we don't need to make it so complicated because it's just organizing. Like
Yeah.
it's not this overcomplicated thing that I think we see. It's just making your life easier and putting things in place to help you find exactly what you need when you need it.
I love that because I'm hearing like the true process of organization is little tweaks that make an impact versus like a big overhaul of like a weekend with piles and trash bags and decluttering and like a really intense organizing situation, which is what for me it's always been. Either I'm working on it or I'm ignoring it.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. I like that. And it was so funny because yesterday I heard this quote that blew my mind, and it was like, use brings the most used things close to you. And so if you just look at like the actual items and then develop a strategy around those instead of like blank slate. Yeah, I really like this
Yes.
approach. It really feels empowering versus overwhelming.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, good. Well, I think when people think of organizing, sometimes we think of like clutter and clearing out. That's like where your brain goes first. It's like, oh, we got to deal with the clutter. Is that really the first step to being organized, is like diving in and attacking that? Or is there more like planning, like, I don't know, like thinking through things before we just like tackle clutter?
Yes. We're like getting rid of clutter. And I think a lot of people have put anything that's out is clutter, but that's not the true definition of it. So
Right.
clutter is just anything you don't use, like, or, find as a necessity in your house. It's those three things. So when Marie Kondo says, does it spark joy? Basically, that's what she's talking about. Like, is it something that actually is useful? Is it, a necessity? Because not everything is going to be like, oh, yes, I love garbage bags, but like you need them in your house.
Right.
So like, sometimes it's just you have to have it. So looking at your stuff in that light, like, does it serve one of these three purposes? And if it doesn't, then you can consider it clutter.
I like that. Because it's like visual clutter is different than like actual clutter.
Exactly. They are two separate things. So just because you have things out doesn't mean it's clutter.
Yeah.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
So when you like approach a space, like say you walk in, we're doing like, for example, a pantry. It's used for food storage. It's like a drop zone. I'm specifically talking about my pantry in case anyone's wondering. Drop zone for kitchen items. Like, where do we start? Because my first reaction would be to be overwhelmed and close the door and pretend it doesn't exist. So what's the first step?
The first step is to declutter. Just remove the things that either aren't supposed to be in there, which are easy things to see.
Yeah.
Or the things that you don't like for a pantry, the things that nobody's eating. I mean, we all have done it. We've all gone to Costco and the kids are like, I love this food. And then it comes home and nobody eats it.
Yes.
So finding a local food pantry that you can donate your unopened food to is going to help significantly so that you can, donate your unwanted food and it's not taking up space in your pantry.
I like that. Okay, so we cleared all that out. And then what's the next phase? Like, how do you look at what you have and create a system for it?
I honestly say a lot of things, we don't need to recreate the wheel. So, a pantry and like think of a grocery store, they group things together in like a similar area. All pasta related stuff goes together. All produce goes together. So if you start thinking about things, how they are like at a store, it's going to help you create organization in your home without really having to recreate the wheel.
Ooh, I like that. It sounds so simple, but like that's not where I would have started at all. I would have gone and bought pretty bins and tried to make it cute.
No, because what ends up happening is those bins end up collecting clutter if there is no system in place. And that system is like grouping things together based on how you prepare your food or how you, kind of like use the space. Like if you do have kids, then putting snacks on the lower shelves where if you don't have kids or you have older kids that can cook the food, you can play around more with your shelving in your pantry.
Right. Right. So we're really focusing on like the function and how things are
Yeah.
actually going to be used and developing a process there before we're allowed to go buy baskets.
Exactly. Because 9 times out of 10, you are not going to need the things that you think you need.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I save things for like the weirdest reasons. Like, nah, I'm going to make a craft out of this in
Yeah.
2 years. Like, what if I need it? Like, no.
Right.
No. So, is there a balance? Like, obviously, for some people like me, the whole like perfectly organized rainbow situation is just not attainable. Like, it's too
Mhm.
much maintenance. My brain isn't gonna get there. Is there a happy medium between like making sure we have that function in place, but also things that still look like nice instead of like, you know, I don't know, just not pretty? Like
Yeah.
for those of us that like it pretty, but can't quite do rainbow clear bin setup.
Yes, totally. And I think that the pretty actually can support the organizing
Yeah.
because you aren't going to want to really like change that up much. You know, you're
Right.
going to try and keep up with it because it looks pretty, but pretty is the end goal. So it's not the process, it's this is how I'm going to maintain it. So once you've kind of like grouped things together, you've made sure that, you know, everything flows and all of that, then you can look at either the stuff you have in your house right now, because odds are you have things that can work, or you now have a better idea of the size of things. So for your bins, you might have a better idea of the size of bin space you need to hold specific things like chips or, snacky type of foods.
Yeah.
And so then you have a better idea once you've gone through the entire process instead of just going and buying the bins first.
Yes, I love that. That makes so much more sense. Okay, so something that's occurred to me, and I feel like my brain can understand this, but I don't know how to practically do it,
Yeah.
is that like organization isn't really like a one and done process. It's not like
Yes.
it was a dumpster fire and then we organized and now it's clean. It's like you have to maintain it and stay up with it consistently. But sometimes it's like the system you created might need tweaked.
Yes.
So how do we like tweak the system over time to make adjustments as, you know, we get more things or it gets out of control? How do we do that?
Oh, I love this so much because I think a lot of people feel like the idea of organizing is, you know, an end goal where it is exactly what you said, Cara, like it's a process.
Mm,
So something you have to maintain. So for me, anything in the kitchen, like especially refrigerator or pantry items, you can maintain that every week because
yeah,
you're going to go grocery shopping. So every week you can easily tweak the things in there as you put things away.
right.
There isn't going to be a giant, you know, declutter session. You're like, okay, I don't really love that the oatmeal's at the bottom of my pantry. Like I want it more at eye level. So I'm just going to like swap where those two things are. And it's not going to be, you know, oh, I have to clear off everything.
Right.
It's a tiny tweak that as you're putting away food, think about, did this work this week?
Ooh.
Things in your closet you can do daily. Okay. So
Mm,
have a bag or a bin or something in your closet. And then if you pull something out and you're like, okay, I just don't like this, you have a spot in your closet just to toss it. And then you don't have to worry about doing like a giant, you know, closet declutter. You're doing it every day when you're trying on clothes to get ready for the day.
yeah. But I feel like now that you're saying this, it's like organization shows have done us dirty because they show us like this big, massive overhaul where we spend days in a room digging around, putting things in bins to donate and organize. Like it can be an ongoing process and it can be like a tiny tweak that's just like, fix this little tiny thing today and then we'll see how it works tomorrow.
Totally. It does not need to be a big giant process.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why me and maybe many others have shied away from it because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to spend my weekend doing that. I have better ideas. So
Exactly. And
ignore
then,
it.
yes, you're not going to put it off if it's not a big thing, it's something you do every day, then you don't have to spend your weekend, decluttering things.
Yeah. Are there any tips you have for, I know there's like certain specific topics of organization that have really, I don't know, are really popular. I guess like, for example, toys. Like, how do we regain control of toys? Like, are there any specific tips for toy storage? Because we kind of did the pantry, so I guess we'll talk
Yes.
about toys next.
Oh, toys. There are so many things. Well, the first thing is we are the ones buying the toys. So we need to look at our reasons why we're buying all of the toys. I have this story that I always tell whenever we talk about toys and looking at like, you don't need much. Your kids actually, there's a lot of, research out there that just says kids don't need all the toys. They actually are far more creative with less. And so we are the ones buying the toys. So we need to look at like our reasons why. Like, is it out of guilt? Like, oh, we aren't playing with the kids, so we're just going to buy them more toys. Because just remove that from your feeling. You don't always have to play with the kids. It's okay to let them play by themselves.
Right.
I need that reminder too, though. But
Mm-hmm.
But as the kids play, like one story that I always tell is my husband was like, oh, our son loves the train tracks, so we need to buy more train tracks. And I was like, no, we're good with the train tracks. Like they fit. It makes, 2 different shapes. We're good with, and he was dead set we needed them. Well, one day my son got this really great idea to combine blocks, magnetiles, and his train set. He built this giant train track. And when my husband came home from work, was like, okay, yeah, he constructed something completely different from what we had. And it was far more creative. And so I love sharing this story because you don't need all of the toys. Fewer can lead to far more creativity, and we need to inspire our kids to do that.
Yes, that is amazing. And it's like, as you're saying this, so many reasons came up for me for like why I buy toys for Ella. Like one of them is like, I didn't get every single thing I wanted growing up. And like that made me sad as a kid. So if as a mom, I give her every single thing she could want, like she'll be happy. Like, it's like, it's silly, but it's like things that we're trying to be like better than our parents and be, even better than what they were able to do for us. And sometimes in an effort to do that, it's like we're actually doing the wrong thing or taking the wrong approach.
Totally.
Yeah. And so unearthing that is like where it actually starts, not looking at the pile of toys in the living room having a panic attack because you don't want to organize them.
Exactly. And also to remind yourself that pile of toys was done by you.
Yes.
Not your kids.
Yeah. That is magical. Like organization actually starts at the moment of purchase, not at the moment that you look at the mess. Like it started way before that.
Oh, totally. And so one thing I always ask myself is like, what is the purpose of this item? Like, and if you just stop and take a pause, you can see, oh, there is no purpose for this. And so then it's going to make you start to second guess, do I actually need to purchase this?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll get back to the conversation after a quick word from our sponsor.
Do you ever feel like you have all the right information from the podcast, from YouTube, from social media on how to create the space of your dreams, but you just don't know how to apply those tips and those strategies to your specific space? It can be so challenging, but I finally have a way to help you out one-on-one. You can book a DIY coaching session with me or a design consultation. So if you want to tackle this space yourself, you just need a little guidance and YouTube is becoming hard to navigate. I'll help you plan and tackle your home DIY project, including answering all your questions and helping you troubleshoot and pivot if you've started and you feel stuck. Or if what you need is more of the design strategy, you can book a design consultation. We'll meet on Zoom and talk strategies for your specific space. We can do a deep dive into one room, go over everything that needs to be fixed or changed in the space, and create a plan for you to make that happen. Or we can give your whole house some therapy and do a home walkthrough talking about how to create cohesiveness in your space and assessing your whole house at the same time. This is the perfect next step if you've been loving the podcast, you love the strategies, but you're not quite sure how to create a space you're obsessed with because you need hands-on personalized help. We got this. I am here for you. Just book a coaching session or a design consultation and we will get hands-on with your space. Just go to calendly.com/Cara Newhart or find the link in the show notes to book so we can sit down one-on-one and tackle your space.
And now, back to the interview.
So when it comes to, I don't know, people just getting started on an organization journey, trying to rein things in and regain control, like there seems to be like tried and true or like really popular things that are marketed to us, like, you know, the clear bins, or I guess cube storage is another one, like, no, just fill the cubes.
Right.
Do you feel like any of those are like great tools, or should we go deeper than that?
Again, this is a hard question to answer because
Yes.
there are so many paths to go with it. So
Right.
I think it starts with you and you getting clear on what is your goal of being organized. And just start there. Like, what is your goal? Do you want your house to look like a magazine or what you see on Pinterest? And if you do, that is great. You have an end goal now that you have for what organized means to you. If you want your family to be able to put things away in specific spots, well, that's a different goal because it's not going to look like the Pinterest organizing. Do you just want to start minimizing your stuff so you don't have so many things? And by looking at like what is organized to you, you will then know which path to kind of follow.
That seems so simple, but like, yeah, it's like I was jumping ahead of the game because in everyone's head, you have a version of when you say organized, like what that means. But unless you really start there and unpack that and like why that is the way it is, because for me, it was perfectly lined up bins where everything was organized. But like, that's not what I actually want.
Right.
So yeah, unpacking that is, I guess it's hard because no one would tell you to do that. They're like, oh, you want to be organized? Like, here's buy this thing. You could also buy this.
And because it is, we live in a world of influencer culture and professional organizers, including myself, are influencers in sharing products and things. So look at it as we are sharing options of ways in which we can support you being organized instead of, oh, my favorite organizer used this bin, so I have to too.
Yes, like you have to see the option and know why it works for you for it to be the right choice versus like, well, it's pretty and she said so. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I love that so much. Okay, so you have a new book coming out called Home Sweet Organized Home. Can we just talk a little bit about what it is and yeah, like what it's about?
Yes. So I think you have an idea of what my organizing philosophy is.
Yeah.
And the first quite a few chapters dig really deep into defining what organized means to you, clearing mental clutter, because that is another thing that totally stops us from like physically organizing our house. When our brain has so much going on, we aren't able to truly process the physical items because our brain is just at capacity. And so I share some of my favorite tips for clearing that mental clutter so that you actually can organize your physical space. And then we go into like all of the things with decluttering and organizing every area of your house with like so many checklists because I love checklists. So there are so many.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And what a great tool though, because it's like we're talking about organizing, but then here's like an actual hands-on thing you can do about it versus just, learning. I like the mental clutter thing because I'm really big into quotes apparently today, but
I love it.
one I have heard before is that, you know, your physical space can be a reflection of like your internal world.
Yes.
Do you find that to be the case? And how do you help people through that process?
I completely feel that way. I think it's also a good clue, like for us and noticing your friends. If you start to notice your friend's space start to get a little, disheveled, then you can also kind of be like, okay, I can tell you kind of a lot going on in your head as well.
Yeah.
And so to start, I am a huge believer of paper, pencil writing or marker writing instead of typing, because there is brain research that actually shows your brain processes more when your hand is moving, like writing letters versus typing. So by doing a brain dump where you actually write down everything in your brain for like 10 minutes, set a
Yeah.
timer and just start writing or doodling or whatever, it helps your brain kind of like check off all of the things because you're handwriting them out on paper.
Yeah, that makes so much sense why I can't get on board with a digital like calendar. I have
Yes,
to write things down and use colored pens and
totally. I'm the
But
same.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I like that a lot. So, yeah, I guess we can look at our physical space and have it tell us something about what's happening inside and start there
totally.
instead of feeling like you have to go tackle the space. Like you got to have be in the mindset to be ready and able to do that too.
Totally. And if your mindset isn't totally there, you could be running close to something that's called decision fatigue, where
Mhm.
you can't physically make any more decisions because you are, there are stats and numbers. I think your brain can, like the capacity to actually make decisions is a finite number. So
Mhm.
you aren't able to make as many decisions when your brain is completely, overflowing with thoughts and other things you have to decide.
Yeah. No, totally a thing, and that's why, like, people like Steve Jobs used to wear the same shirt every day because it,
Yes.
like, saves a decision for later, it's more important, so, yeah, totally a thing, which is so interesting.
It is so interesting.
Yeah.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
And it's also funny how much our, like, mindset and our emotions play into, like, the things we have in our spaces. I think another good example is, like, sentimental items and stuff we hold on to for those reasons. Like, how do we tackle that if it's not really functioning, but we're really attached?
So, this is something that is so difficult. And also, if someone in the family has passed, again, there are far more steps involved in that.
Mm.
So, for the purpose of this podcast, I am going to be more broad, um, just because I think the sentimental items are something that people need to know. They aren't like there's a methodology where it's like hold it once and decide. You can't do that with sentimental
Right,
items.
right.
And so, like, I just want to make that clear
Yes.
before I say anything, because I don't want anybody, being like, no, you can't do that. So, a lot of times the sentimental items could be attached to a physical item from somebody else. And so we feel guilt about holding on to that particular item.
Mm.
So if that's the case, that's when you kind of have to separate the tangible item for the guilt or the emotion placed on it by somebody else. This
Right.
is typical with like China or
Uh-huh.
like this was grandma's and grandma lived through the depression. And so you feel
Right.
this obligation to hold on to something that might not fit your decor, that might not, benefit you or your family. And so that's when you kind of have to separate the two from each other in order to decide, is this actually worth saving? Maybe I only save the platters because I use those, or I save the teacups, or, you save something and then you find a local organization that will benefit from your donation, not just like Goodwill, but like
Yeah.
a true organization that will benefit from, Grandma's China or pieces, Habitat for Humanity. They can repurpose things and it goes to a good home. And so that piece is no longer just going to like be floating out in the world. It has a purpose right away from the donation time.
Ooh, I like that so much because it's not just like, okay, well, we don't need it anymore, so it has to go. It's like, how can we use it to create good in the world? So it's like a ripple effect. And in letting go, we like let something good happen. That's really cool.
Yes. And I think that component, not like the sentimental attachment we've put onto items, but other people, and we feel guilt about it. Like
Yes.
that's how to tackle that one. But like I said, there's so many roads with the sentimental items.
Right. Or like something you got as a gift that you like
Exactly.
really don't want, but you have to keep and
Right.
like let it go.
It is okay.
Yes.
The act of the gift giver giving you the gift is the gift of itself.
Yes. And that's what needed to be like received well, not the,
Exactly.
yeah. Like as long as you received the gift well, then you're done. Your job is done.
Exactly.
You don't have to keep the
Exactly.
gift. I like that. Do you have any strategies for, I don't know, like ways to hang on to things that are like less tangible? I guess I'm thinking like take a picture of it and then get rid of the thing, but you can save a picture. Like, is there any creative ways to keep the memory but get rid of the object?
Yes, the picture. So quite a few years ago is when I first discovered this whole digital scrapbooking.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client who a bunch of her really old Christmas ornaments were about to they're starting to fall apart, losing their picture. So she hired a professional photographer to take pictures of all of these ornaments, turned it into this gorgeous coffee table book that she puts out every Christmas. And she no longer has to hold on to the physical ornaments or worry about them getting damaged or broken or breaking other things. She has this beautiful book that she can look at. And then that led me to think of like, oh, you could create stories, get other people, get pictures, and create beautiful scrapbooks of stories, pictures, memories, have family members write out things about those special sentimental items. And you can now cherish it in a way that everyone can enjoy versus taking it out, one time a year.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm so excited. Yeah, how special because like when you have the item, like a lot of times the memory and the connection lives in your head, but if you can
Yes.
somehow get it out into a medium where you can share it and also reduce like the volume of stuff,
Mhm.
it's like that's an all-around win. That is so cool.
And it's something that, the entire family could have. It's not just
Yeah.
like for you. If
Yeah.
you have grandparents, they can handwrite the stories so you can actually see them. Or if there's cards that go along with it, it just creates so much more meaning behind it.
Yeah. And you can even do that with like personal items as I'm sitting
Yes.
looking at my closet and all these shirts I need to get rid of that I seem to be holding on for sentimental reasons. Like it's just a memory between me and me, like a past
Mhm.
version of myself that wore that or did
Yes.
something wearing that. Like I could make a book with all those items and the story of like why I like it and what I did. And then like that can be passed down. And it's like, yeah, we can get rid of all these clothes. Someone else can wear them.
Exactly. But then you still are holding on to the memory, which is the reason why you have to tangibly hold that particular item is solely for that memory.
Exactly. And for someone like me with ADHD, it feels like if I
Mhm.
let go of the item, the memory will vanish and I will
Yes.
forget forever. So there can be a lot of pressure around that because it's like, oh, well, if I have it, I see it. It's like object permanence. If I don't see it, it doesn't
Yes.
exist and I forget it ever existed. So yeah, that seems to be why I hold on to things. But yeah, now we have another option. So I like that.
Yes. Yes, and it's a project and it's something that will take time, but I feel like that process and letting it out of your head is also going to help you kind of clear some mental clutter you didn't realize was actually there.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, so here we go, ADHD again, but back to the toys, but more specifically, this is like the perfect question for you because I want to kind of dive into like how to teach your kids organizational skills.
Yes.
Because for, if their rooms are a total mess, it's like, go clean your room. Well, I found that like my daughter is 5 and she like literally doesn't know how to tackle the pile of toys. Like she has no idea how to turn those toys into something, even though it's like there's baskets for this and bins for this. Like she should know where everything goes, but she still really struggles to get it there. So what are some strategies for teaching our kids organization?
It starts with having them involved in the entire process. So I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, I'll just organize while they're at school and then they'll just keep it up. But you didn't show them where anything goes. So if that's the case, if you're like, okay, I'm just going to do it while they're at school, before they get home, you need to label everything. And for kids, like that could be picture labels, that could be text labels, that could be a little of both. But when you have those labels and then turn it into a game where, you take some things out, like, okay, I organized our toys and we're going to have a game where I want you to find where this item goes back. So let's say you pull out like a couple musical instruments and they're in a musical instrument bin that has a picture label on it of musical instruments. So you hold it up and then say, okay, can you find where this goes? And then they have to go kind of search through all the bins until they can kind of figure out, where specific things go. If you go the route of you doing it first. But I'm a big fan of having the kids help. It does take some time where you dump everything out. You put all of the bins and then you say, okay, like we need to group them. About like 5 or 6 years old is when you can start this. I mean, I did do it when my daughter was 3. When we first started, like going through all of this, but she did need quite a bit of support on my end.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like getting granular down to like specific items and like letting them try. Right now, all I do is I call it a pile party and I turn on music and we make piles of toys, clothes, and trash. Like, go. Pile party. I try to like make it exciting. Ella, she can see right through my nonsense. She's like, yeah, okay, no, this is not a party in any way, just because there's music. But yeah, no, I like that. I like getting them involved and from the beginning that gives them like ownership so they feel like they're part of the process.
Yes, and do this with their clothes too. Even if it doesn't make any sense, do not give your 2 cents. And for me, it is so hard. Like when my daughter was first like I'm like, okay, like where should all of your pants go? Because you can guide them, but they need to make the final decision. So she decided in her closet, all of her pants were going to go on the very top shelf. I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. She needs to learn that this is the silliest spot for them because she couldn't even see the top shelf.
Right.
But we had to try it so that she could see this was a silly spot. And that's going to be the only way they're going to learn how to actually organize is letting them try things. And when they're young, it's so much easier than like when they go off to college and then they have to figure it out, but they don't want to like look bad. So the younger they are to try this out, the better.
The better. Especially like, I like that early elementary age when they just have their own ideas and you can't talk them out of anything. Like that's the perfect time. Like, yep, you go try that. We'll see how it goes.
Exactly. And like the more that you let them do that, the better it'll be for you in the long run.
Yeah, I like that because you're building the process like with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so your book, when does it come out? Where can we buy it? Because I know everyone's going to be so excited. I will link to it in the show notes, but I forgot to ask like when it actually comes out.
So I'm going to say April because of all sorts of, the trucks and stuff are all getting backlogged and everything. So they moved the date again. It was the beginning of April. Now they're saying the end of April. So it is coming in April.
Yeah. In April sometime. Good.
April sometime.
Right? We can't know exactly when with all the delays anymore. It's like, well, sometime. We'll know when we know.
They're saying
Well,
it's April. So
yeah.
spring cleaning, it'll be the best time. You'll have all the checklists right there, April.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So exciting. And I want to dive into where everyone can connect with you online. I know you have like a blog and workshops and consulting and then social media. Like, where's the best place to connect with you?
Yes, on the website is where everything is. So you can find all channels, and that is theorganizedmama, MAMA.com. It's Organized Mamas on all social media platforms, but the blog is the best place to find everything.
Perfect. Like a home base. Go there and then you'll find what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so, so much for your time and for coming on today. I had the best time. I'm feeling very encouraged about organizing instead of like I want to ignore it.
I had so much fun. Thank you so much, Cara.
Oh, thank you. Psst. If you're still here, that means we need to be friends. Hop over to Instagram and follow me at Never Skip Brunch if you want DIY projects and more design inspo. Or if you want to get connected for podcast-specific updates, hop over to Make Space Pod and you can stay in the loop for when new episodes drop. See you on Instagram.
I'm on my way back home.
Thanks for listening. If this is your first time listening in, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the loop with the newest episodes. If you're a subscriber and you love the show, be sure to rate, review, or a screenshot and share your favorite episode on social.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.